As USS Abraham Lincoln sailors face mounting strain after an extraordinarily long deployment, the United States is sending another supercarrier into the region, raising questions about whether relief is finally coming. The USS George H.W. Bush has now been deployed, fueling speculation that the carrier could be positioned to replace the exhausted USS Abraham Lincoln after months at sea. The George H.W. Bush has been spotted in the Arabian Sea as the USS Lincoln passes the 250-day mark at sea, highlighting the extraordinary demands being placed on its crew. After months of relentless operations, USS Lincoln sailors could finally be getting relief as Trump says the warship is being replaced by another carrier.
Well, no, that ship is moving. No, they're not. That ship is moving right now, or very shortly, and it's being replaced with another very similar ship.
The prospect of relief comes as disturbing accounts from aboard the Lincoln emerge, offering a glimpse into the extreme conditions sailors say they have endured during the deployment. Some sailors have reportedly described such severe conditions aboard the carrier that even basic access to functioning facilities became a serious problem, raising fresh questions about the toll of the deployment. And as service members speak out about the realities of the war and life aboard the carrier, War Secretary Pete Hegseth faces growing pressure to defend the Pentagon's handling of the crisis and protect the administration from mounting criticism. U.S. Central Command has released new images showing the USS George H.W. Bush operating in the Arabian Sea, offering a fresh look at the American carrier's ongoing presence in the region. The images show fighter jets conducting flight operations from the carrier's deck, highlighting the continued readiness of the ship's embarked air wing during its deployment. CENTCOM said the Nimitz-class, nuclear-powered aircraft carrier was supporting security operations in the Middle East, as American forces maintain a significant military presence across the region. The USS George H.W. Bush is operating within the U.S. Fifth Fleet's area of responsibility, a strategically important zone covering waters across parts of the Middle East and surrounding region. Moreover, U.S. President Donald Trump confirmed that the USS Abraham Lincoln would be replaced as part of a change to the American carrier presence in the Middle East. Trump said the Lincoln would be replaced by another very similar ship, indicating that the United States intends to maintain a comparable aircraft carrier capability in the region despite the planned rotation.
U.S. service members are concerned about the conditions on board the USS Lincoln.
Well, no, that ship is moving. No, they're not. That ship is moving right now, or very shortly, and it's being replaced with another very similar ship.
Has the deployment gone on too long?
No. Not nearly long enough. Thank you, everybody.
The deployment comes as pressure continues to mount over the conditions reportedly faced by sailors aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, with growing concerns surrounding their welfare during the carrier's prolonged time at sea. Reports have emerged of difficult living conditions across several U.S. naval deployments, with complaints involving food supplies, water, hygiene products, plumbing, and prolonged periods away from port. Family members and service personnel have shared accounts of living conditions across ships and other military branches, describing a recurring pattern of shortages, fatigue, and poor access to basic facilities. The latest allegations were reported by Midas Touch on August 14th, based on messages from relatives and active duty personnel. The outlet's accounts have not all been independently verified. One service member deployed alongside the USS Abraham Lincoln reportedly told Midas Touch that the reported hardships were real and reflected more than isolated frustrations from a single ship. The same service member reportedly said the issues were not restricted to the USS Abraham Lincoln, suggesting that long deployments and resupply problems may be affecting other units as well. In one message cited by the report, a service member said personnel had not seen land since deploying because of the Iran conflict, illustrating the strain of long stretches without port calls or normal rotation. Another parent said conditions aboard the carrier became progressively worse during their son's deployment, with recurring problems affecting sanitation, water access, food, and basic daily routines. The parent alleged that the ship's water system failed early in the 11-month deployment, leaving sailors unable to shower or wash clothing until the system was restored. Even after the water system was restored, the parent said showers remained tightly rationed, adding to complaints of hygiene problems and declining morale among the crew. Families say supplies repeatedly ran low and conditions worsened when resupply operations and mail deliveries were disrupted, leaving sailors short of food, toiletries, and other essentials. The parent further alleged that toilets backed up and overflowed shortly before their son left the ship, but the Navy has not publicly verified the specific circumstances described in the account. According to the unverified family message, about half a foot of human waste covered the floor of a restroom used by roughly 200 sailors, a claim that illustrates the severity of the reported sanitation crisis. A relative of another sailor claimed crew members had virtually no food, water, or soap, while other reports describe reduced meal portions and shortages of toiletries such as toothpaste, deodorant, and soap. Notably, the USS George H.W. Bush is also deployed in the Middle East as the USS Abraham Lincoln faces reports of extended deployment strain. Sailors seeking clarity from commanding officers have reportedly been told to focus on just today, a response families say has deepened uncertainty about rotation schedules, resupply, and relief plans. Some experienced sailors have reportedly described the deployment as the worst of their careers, pointing to the combination of long shifts, limited rest, supply problems, and prolonged separation from families. Not every account involved naval service, as relatives have also raised concerns about U.S. personnel deployed at bases across the Middle East during the widening regional conflict. One parent reported that their son, who is stationed in Kuwait, was in extremely poor health, though no independently confirmed medical details have been made public. Service members and relatives speaking to Midas Touch urged others to come forward with their own experiences, arguing that wider testimony is needed to force military leaders to address the alleged problems. Taken together, the accounts point to a reported pattern of exhausted troops, dwindling supplies, sanitation issues, and growing morale concerns across extended U.S. deployments linked to the Iran war. USS Abraham Lincoln's 250-day deployment now appears to be colliding with America's Iran blockade, as reports of stretched supplies, limited port calls, and crew welfare concerns draw congressional scrutiny. On August 13th, Pete Hegseth rejected reports of poor conditions aboard USS Abraham Lincoln, insisting the carrier's sailors are receiving all the support the Pentagon can provide. Hegseth also said the U.S. Navy can maintain its blockade of Iranian ports indefinitely, arguing that America can preserve the pressure campaign by rotating ships in and out of the region. Hegseth said, and I quote, "We make sure every ship, every crew, every captain has everything we can provide them at every single moment. Some deployments are longer than others, and I have more respect and gratitude for those sailors than anybody. What they do in those high seas in those austere conditions with fewer port calls, it's incredible. Indefinitely, the United States Navy can maintain a blockade like that because we'll rotate ships in and out, as we have, and will continue to." Unquote.
Upgrade your news experience with the all-new HT app. Download now.